नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे वैष्णवी वैष्णवेश्वराय वाञ्छाभक्तरूपस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम। So we are reading from the book Bhaktyaloka, written by Bhaktivinoda Ṭ𝚑ā𝚔. So we are on the topic Niyamagra. In the eternal state of the living entity, prem is the only prescription and envy is the only prohibition. This prescription and prohibition is subordinate to the living entity's eternal nature. The living entity imbued with prem and devoid of envy is the shelter of eternal rasa. Although rasa is of 5 varieties, still they are one undivided spiritual truth. The rules of that position are not to be discussed here. We must know only that this state is the eternal condition of the living entity. Although in the conditional state the rules are of different types, still all the steps are divided into 3 principal categories. According to the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and all the Smritis, 3 principal divisions are found: Karma, Jnana, and Bhakti. In each division, certain prescriptions and certain prohibitions are enjoined. In the Karma division, the rules of Varnashram and the 10 supplementary sanskaras as well as regulative prayers are described. Sins and bad habits are prohibited. In the Gyan division, sannyas, renunciation, detachment, and discussing matter and spirit are prescribed. Fruitive activities, forbidden activities, and attachment to sense enjoyment are prohibited. In the Bhakti division, indifference performance of activities favorable to devotion, following the prescriptions and prohibitions of the Gyan division, and cultivating devotional service with the help of those prescriptions and prohibitions are prescribed. All activities opposed to the Lord, Gyan, renunciation, attachment to sense enjoyment, conclusions opposed to devotional service, and giving up action are prohibited. When the conditioned soul advances by giving up his illicit activities or low class character, then he attains the level of karmakand. Such a person should remain in Varnashram Dharma and aspire to attain the level of Gyan. This is his duty. He should remain in Varnashram until he attains detachment from material activities by discussing the difference between matter and spirit and analyzing the nature of false ego. Otherwise, he becomes sinful. When that detachment is attained, then his higher qualification destroys his attachment to fruitive activities. But if that person still remains inclined to the rules of karma kanda, then he cannot make advancement. The duty of one who has attained the level of Gyan Kand is to remain fixed in knowledge until he attains a taste for devotional service. He should remain under the rules of Gyan Kand. As soon as the qualification for devotional service manifests, he should give up his attachment for Gyan Kand. Otherwise, he is guilty of Niyamagra and will not make advancement as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 20, Text number 9. तावत् कर्माणि कुर्विता न निर्विद्येत यावता मत्कथा सर्वणा सर्वण सर्वणादौ वा श्रद्धायावन्न जायते. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not
Satiated. Prabhu, satiated.
satiated. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtana Vishnu, one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions. Shraddha or faith is the only qualification for bhakti, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 20, Text 31. Tasman mad bhakti yuktasya yogino vai mad atmanah न ज्ञानं न च वैराग्यं प्रायः श्रेयो भवेदिह. Therefore, for a devotee engaged in my loving service with mind fixed on me, the cultivation of knowledge and renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within this world. The temple of Krishna Prem is situated The temple of Krishna Prem is situated on the highest peak of Golok Vrindavan. In order to reach that peak, one has to cross the 14 planetary systems of Karma Kand, the Viraja Brahmalok of the Gyan Kand, and then rise above Vaikuntha. By gradually giving up attachment to the stages of Karma and Gyan, one becomes eligible for Bhakti. After crossing the various stages of Bhakti, one reaches the temple door of Prem. Shraddha is the only rule for people established on the level of Bhakti.
Yes, see, actually, Hare Krishna. Just 1 second. Here, a beautiful explanation of Krishna Prema and what are the stages in which we have to cross is being explained very beautifully. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the temple of Krishna Prema is situated on the highest peak of Golok Vrindavan. So in order to reach that peak, one has to cross the 14 planetary systems of Karma. So we have heard many times. We heard many times that when the jiva is going, uh, recently I heard, recently there was an uh, online class going on, and suddenly one Prabhupada disciple gave example of a Russian devotee who met with an accident, and he showed the video also that's there. Ram Prabhu is having the video. So this Russian devotee met with an accident and went into coma, and he didn't wake up for days. In the meantime, what happened is his soul traveled to some places, and he was shown so many planets. It seems he was given so much of, has been offered so many, so many, so many beings came to him and offered so many things to him. Maybe it is higher planets or whatever it is. So this person, this devotee, is to question them that I'm a devotee, I don't want all these things. I don't want all these things. Then one by one left. And then finally Prabhupada came into the Prabhupada appeared. And then somehow he came out of coma, and then he explained all those things, whatever has happened in that. Maybe Ram Prabhu can explain. I think this is the gist I know. Am I right, Ram Prabhu? Whatever I said?
Hare Krishna. So he explained that the demigods came and they were offering so many things.
Yeah, demigods. These demigods came and offered so many things. Yes. And then?
He didn't take it. He didn't take it.
Yeah, the main point is that the demigod. Yes.
I think he left. He wasn't partaking in Krishna consciousness, or he wanted to leave. And right before he leave is when he fall into this coma. When he came back, he took straight to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. See, this happened. This is the proof. The video is there. If you want, you can keep it or put it in the drive and share it to me tomorrow.
I don't know. I don't know if it's me, but your voice is breaking up. I don't know if everybody else is hearing the same.
Sorry.
The voice is
Sorry,
choppy.
Prabhu.
It's not. Yeah, I wasn't hearing you clearly. I don't know if it's my end or if it was everyone else is hearing it as well.
No,
Yes.
the thing is, I am driving. I'm in the car, so that's why my voice will be like this. And I'm having my what is that signal shaking. I think that's why it is like this. Anyhow, tomorrow I can explain more clearly. For the time being, today you can just read it, and tomorrow I can revise it while reading here. Otherwise, you can just instead of being interrupting in the middle. Just continue it. Tomorrow, if it is required, I'll speak because these passages are very important to be discussed. Okay, tomorrow I can. So for the time being, you can just continue to read.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Hare Krishna. Shraddha is the only rule for people established on the level of bhakti. As anarthas or unwanted habits are destroyed by the power of devotional service performed under shelter of sadhu and guru, the Shraddha transforms into devotional service with nishtha or firm faith. As the anarthas are further destroyed, one progresses from the level of nishtha to ruchi or taste, from ruchi to asakti or attachment, and from asakti to bhava or emotion. When bhava in the form of rati or affection is mixed with the appropriate ingredients, it becomes rasa. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 14, Text 26, it is said, यथा यथात्मा परिमृज्यते सौ मत्पुण्यगाथा श्रवणाभिधाने तथा तथा पश्यन्ति वस्तु सूक्ष्मं चक्षुर्यथैव चक्षुर्यथैवज्ञ संप्रयुक्तम्. When a diseased eye is treated with medical ointment, it gradually recovers its power to see. Similarly, as a conscious living entity cleanses himself of material contamination by hearing and chanting the pious narrations of my glories, he regains his ability to see me, the absolute truth, in my subtle spiritual form. Srila Rupa Goswami clarifies the sequence in his Bhakti Rasam Sindhu as follows. आदौ श्रद्धा ततः साधु संगो अतः भजन क्रिया ततो अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात् ततो निष्ठा रुचिस्ततः अथासक्ति ततो भावस्ततः प्रेमाभ्युदञ्चति साधकानाम् अयं प्रेम प्रादुर्भावे भवेत् क्रमः. In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. In the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master, and under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This taste leads one further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhava or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema, the highest perfectional stage of life. In the process of sadhana bhakti, there are four stages: Shraddha, Nishtha, Ruchi, and Asakti. After passing these four stages, one comes to the level of Bhava, which is the doorstep of Prema. According to the degree of faith, each level has different rules. As one leaves behind one level and progresses to the next, he should honor the rules of the latter and leave aside those of the former. Those who do not give up the rules of the previous level are bound by those rules like chains that do not allow him to proceed to the next level. In the process of devotional service, whatever rules are prescribed for each level are all subordinate to one principal rule. That general rule is given in the Padma Puran as follows: Smartabhya satatam Vishnu विस्मर्तव्यो न जातुचित् सर्वे विधि निषेधास्योर एतयोर एव किंकरा. Remembering Krishna is the eternal duty. All other prescriptions mentioned in the Shastras have arisen from this main prescription. Forgetting Krishna is never allowed. All other prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras have arisen from this main prohibition. Keeping this main prescription in mind while advancing, the practitioner should give up his attachment for the prescriptions of the previous level and accept the prescriptions of the next level. Otherwise, he will be guilty of niyamagraha and weak in reaching the next level. The practitioner of devotional service must always remember this point. In the conclusion of Hari Bhakti Vilas, special instruction is given in this regard. कृत्यान्यतानि तु प्रायो गृहीणां धनीनां सतां लिखितानि न तु त्यक्त परिग्रह महात्मनाम्. Whatever activities are written in Hari Bhakti Vilas are mostly all meant for householders and rich devotees. There are no rules written for the renunciates. Also, in the conclusion of the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is stated, अवश्यं तानि सर्वाणि तेषां तात ऋक्त्व सिद्धये प्राग अपेक्षाणि भक्तिर्हि सदाचारैक साधना. Although the rules for renunciates are avoided in this book, still renunciates should follow those rules in order to perfect their position. The behavior exhibited by the renunciate sadhus is proper behavior in this connection. That alone is to be followed. The first symptom of one who has attained Shraddha is surrender to the feet of Lord Krishna. That surrender is of two types, for the householders and for the renunciates. Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas mentions only those rules that are meant for householders. That is why observances such as Shiva Chaturdasi are given therein. The surrendered renunciates should follow whatever observances are appropriate for renunciates. Both the householder and the renunciate become unalloyed, surrendered souls while advancing on the path of sadhana. Then their rules are only slightly different. At that stage, they attain ultimate surrender due to advancement in sadhana. It is said in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 18, text 28, the Hari Bhakti Vilas, 20th Vilas, and the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 20, text 36. ज्ञाननिष्ठो विरक्तो वा मद्भक्तो वानपेक्षकः सलिंगान आसमाम त्यक्त्वा चरेद अविधिगोचरः. A learned transcendentalist dedicated to the cultivation of knowledge and thus detached from external objects, or my devotee who is detached even from desire for liberation, both neglect those duties based on external rituals or paraphernalia. Thus, their conduct is beyond the range of rules and regulations. एकांतितां गतानातु नान्तु श्रीकृष्ण चरणा यज्ञो भक्ति स्वतः प्रवर्तेत तद्विघ्नः किं वर्ततादिभिः. When one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, then devotion is spontaneously established in his heart. What then is the need to observe rituals that simply obstruct one's devotional service? न मय्य एकांत भक्ताना गुणदोष भवा गुणा साधूनां समचित्तानां बुद्धे परम उपेयुषाम. Material piety and sin, which arise from the good and evil of this world, cannot exist with my unalloyed devotees, who, being free from material hankerings, maintain steady spiritual consciousness in all circumstances. Indeed, such devotees have achieved me, the Supreme Lord, who am beyond anything that can be conceived by material intelligence. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is stated, Evam ekantinam prayah kirtanam smaranam prabhu kurvatam parama pritya krityam anyan narocayate vihite swa eva nityesu pravartante swayam hite ityadya ekantinam bhati mahatmayam likhitam hitat. The devotees whose minds are fixed on chanting and remembering Krishna's glories in pure love have no taste for activities prescribed for lower stages. Although they are not attached or bound to follow the prescribed rules of the scriptures, they sometimes follow out of their own accord. This is nicely explained in the 8th verse of the Upadeshamrita. These are the glories of the pure devotees. That is, their glories are not diminished by neglecting others' prescribed rules. The purport is that exalted devotees follow whatever rules of the lower stages they like. The Gyanis follow the Varnashram Dharma of the Karmis by their own will, not by rule or obligation. Similarly, the devotees, out of their sweet will, also follow the rules of Karmis and Gyanis for some purpose. This means that although they are not obliged to follow the prescriptions and prohibitions, they do so on their own accord. The topmost pure devotees are also not considered overly attached to regulations when they follow the rules of karma, gyan, and ordinary sadhana bhakti. Independently, they are engaged in the unalloyed devotional service of Lord Krishna. The practicing devotee who gives up niyamagraha but spontaneously follow the rules achieves auspicious results. The conclusion is that the practitioner attains a higher level as a result of following the rules prescribed according to his qualification. He should not maintain attachment for the rules of his previous level. Keeping this instruction always in mind, he should always engage in chanting and remembering Lord Krishna and thus continue advancing to higher levels. Next topic, Janasangha. Association with. Yes.
So
Yes, Prabhuji.
we can ask devotees if they want to
Read.
speak on the previous topic, because they have any questions or anything, because I read it, but there are so many points are there because I'm not available. So some other devotee can read it. If Bindri Prabhu is there, sorry, Asita Prabhu is there, then you can continue to read there.
Asid Prabhu is here.
Ramdas Prabhu wants to say something.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanava Pranams. You can see the part that we just read within the pastime with Daksha and Lord Shiva. You can see that was there. He was observed and focusing and meditating on Krishna. And he didn't pay respect to Daksha. And Daksha feel offended. But he didn't know that Lord Shiva's position was superior to his. So you can see that even though Lord Shiva, he doesn't really care for anything of this world, he's renounced, topmost devotee. He has everything. Everything is given, and he follows, he follows the rules that are there still at times. Oh, it's just fascinated because it's like Lord Krishna, I think, mentions like, it purifies one still. Even the great devotees, he says, still partake of what I think is charity, penance, austerity. It says it purifies them still. I don't know how, but this is Krishna speaking, so it purifies them even further. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Regarding this, I want to say something. Maharaj gave a lecture called even pure devotees follow the rules strictly. There is one lecture given by Maharaj. You can see that uh, devotees, pure devotees, among all the regulative principles, illicit sex, actually, that is very strictly followed, associating with women. Other things, like for example, other things, it's not that they were not following, but apparently people used to think that they were not following. If you see the life of Tulsidas Babaji Maharaj, or Purushottam Babaji Maharaj, and many other pure devotees, many they used to, and one more thing is that not only this, they were away from puja, lava, pratishtha, these kind of things as well. So they used to deliberately act in such a way that they don't get pratishtha or prestige or name or fame. It's a big topic. On one side, you have to see that we have to follow the rules and regulations. On the other side, we should not be attached to the rules and regulations. That's also is there. It's not the point of balance, it's the point of understanding in what way to follow, in what level to follow. Anyhow, there's all a big disturbance and all here. So after the program, we will continue reading. Tomorrow I can speak on some things about okay.
Sure, Prabhu. Jana Sangha. Association with worldly minded persons. The word Jana refers to both male and female human beings. Śrīla Rupa Goswami has written in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sadho Sangha Swato Vare. A devotee should associate with devotees who are more advanced. Practicing devotees are generally superior to karmis and jnanis in all respects. In Bhagavad Gita 7.28, it is said, Yesam tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tedvand moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Therefore, devotees are naturally pure. There is no possibility for them to commit sin. They are not less intelligent like the karmis and jnanis, because they have taken shelter at the lotus feet of the omniscient Supreme Lord. Faith in the devotional service of Lord Krishna is achieved as a result of many lifetimes of pious activities. So there is no doubt that the devotees' activities are pure. From faith, the desire to associate with devotees naturally arises. By associating with devotees, everything is achieved. The glories of Sadhu Sangha are mentioned in the Adi Purana as follows. Yame bhakta jana partha name bhaktas te jana mad bhaktanam chaye bhaktas tame bhakta tama mataha. O Partha, those who claim to be my devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my devotees are actually my devotees. Regarding the need to associate with devotees, it is said, Darshanas Sparshanalapa Sahavasa Dibhikshanat Bhakta Punanati Shanasya Sakshadapi cha Pukasama. Even an outcast becomes completely pure by seeing, touching, conversing with, or living with Krishna's devotee for even a moment. The Srimad Bhagavatam states, Naishamatistavad urukramangi sprishyati anartha pagamo yadarthaha mahishayam padarajo bhishekam nishkinchananam navarnita yavat. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination. Persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. The scriptures often state that without associating with Lord's devotees, Bhakti Devi does not manifest in one's heart. It is most necessary for sadhakas to associate with devotees. Therefore, in this context, the word Janasanga is understood to mean persons who are devoid of devotion. That is why Śrīla Rup Prabhu has included the instruction to give up worldly association as one of the limbs of devotional service. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.43, it is stated, Sangatyago Vidurena Bhagavat Vimukhair Janai, one who desires to attain devotion to Krishna should carefully give up the association of worldly people. That means the devotees should not engage in the activities mentioned in the 4th verse of the Updeshamrita with worldly people. Activities like talking with worldly people in the course of one's work are not considered association. But when the same activities are done with affection for someone, then one is considered to be associating with that person. Every practicing devotee should know the various kinds of worldly people. Therefore, we are hereby most unwillingly enumerating these people. These worldly people are of 7 kinds. Mayavadis and atheists, sense enjoyers, those who fond of the sense enjoyers, women, womanizers, the hypocritically devout, and the ill-behaved foolish outcasts. The Mayavadis do not accept the eternal name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. They consider the living entity as a product of Maya. Therefore, in their opinion, the living entity has no eternal existence. They do not consider devotional service eternal. Rather, they consider it a temporary method to cultivate knowledge. All the Mayavadi conclusions are opposed to the principles of devotional service. Therefore, by associating with Mayavadis, one's devotion gradually disappears. Sri Swarup Damodar gave the following instruction in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 2.94-95. Buddhi Brashta Haile Tomar Gopalera Sange Mayavada Suni Bere Upajila Range वैष्णव हाना ये बा शारीरक भाषा सुने सेवा सेवक भाव छाड़ी अपनारा ईश्वर मने. You have lost your intelligence in the association of Gopal, and therefore you are eager to hear the Mayavad philosophy. When a Vaishnava listens to the Shariraka Bhashya, the Mayavad commentary upon the Vedanta Sutra, he gives up the Krishna conscious attitude that the Lord is his master and the living entity is his servant. Instead, he considered himself the Supreme Lord. Those who do not accept the Supreme Lord, who is glorified by the Vedas, are called Nastikas or atheists. Their minds have been polluted by false arguments. Therefore, one's devotion is lost in their association. Association with sense enjoyers is harmful Those who are always busy associating with sense enjoyment are filled with blasphemy, envy, and violence. Quarrel, argument, and hankering for sense enjoyment is their life. The more they enjoy, the more their thirst for sense enjoyment increases. The sense enjoyers do not get time to speak or hear topics of Krishna. Whether they engage in pious activities or sinful activities, the sense enjoyers always remain far from knowledge of the self. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya 6.278, Śrīla Raghunath Das Goswami has said, Vishaira ann khaile malin hai man, malin man haile nahi Krishnera smaran. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. Those persons who externally engage in sensual activities and accept sense objects just to maintain body and soul together, but internally engage in their constitutional position as servants of Krishna, are not counted amongst the sense enjoyers who are attached to the fruits of their activities. The sense enjoyers and persons fond of sense enjoyers are both worldly minded. Persons who are fond of sense enjoyers are themselves also sense enjoyers because they always think of sense enjoyment within their hearts. There are some people who are not themselves sense enjoyers, but they take pleasure in associating with sense enjoyers. Their association should also be renounced because they will soon become sense enjoyers and bad association themselves. There are two types of sense enjoyers: those who are extremely attached to sense enjoyment and devotees who are attached to sense enjoyment. Associating with those who are extremely attached should be totally rejected. The devotees who are attached to sense enjoyment are also of two types: those who have included the Lord as a part of their sense enjoyment, and those who have kept the Lord in the center of their sense enjoyment. Association with the latter type is preferable to association with the former. Although those who engage in sense enjoyment according to religious codes are better than the sinful sense enjoyers, still the practicing devotee should not associate with them until they become devotees. Simply by wearing the dress of a renunciate, one does not become a devotee free from sense gratification, because renunciates often collect and save objects of sense enjoyment. On the other hand, many persons resemble sense enjoyers but utilize everything in the worship of Lord Hari in the mood of detachment. Considering all this, the practicing devotee should give up the association of sense enjoyers and those fond of them, and engage in devotional service in a secluded place, or, if he is fortunate, in the association of genuine devotees. Do not associate with women. On the other hand, when a woman is engaged in sadhana bhakti, she should not associate with men. Associating with the opposite sex is very inauspicious for the advancing devotee. There are two types of men and women. When a man and woman are married according to religious principles, there is no sin in their touching and talking with each other. Rather, this touching and talking is beneficial because of the scriptural sanction. There is, however, no provision for illusory activities other than the execution of reciprocal duties. If they are illusioned by each other and they engage in activities other than prescribed duties, then that is called Strī Sangha and Purusha Sangha, or association with the opposite sex. For those who are engaged in worshipping Krishna, such association yields inauspicious results. If either one is guilty of such association, then they become an obstacle for the other party. If the wife is helpful in the discharge of devotional service, then the fault of Strī Sangha does not arise. But if the wife is an impediment in the discharge of devotional service, then one should carefully give up her association. We should consider the behavior of the great Vaishnava Acharya Srimad Ramanujacharya in this connection. When there is no marital relationship and one converses with a woman with evil intentions, then this is Strī Sangha. That is sinful and detrimental to devotional service. Considering these points, the practicing devotee should very carefully give up the association of women and persons fond of women, as stated in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 3.31.35. Na tathasya bhavenmoho bandhaschanya prasangataha yoshit sangat yatha pumso yatha tad sangi sangataha. The infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as that resulting from attachment to a woman or to the fellowship of men who are fond of women. For a householder devotee, touching and speaking to his wife in the above mentioned manner is not detrimental to devotional service. But for a renunciant, there cannot be any type of talking or touching a woman, otherwise his practice of devotional service will be completely spoiled. Association with such a deviated person should be totally rejected. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this is interesting because when I came across this I think it's in Bhagavatam, it's given a detail that a lusty man is more dangerous than a lusty woman. Hare Krishna.
Right, Prabhu. Yeah. It's true.
Actually, this whole whatever Jana Sangha is there, this requires one line to be explained in very detailed way than just the reading actually. But what to do? Devotees want, they can discuss about it. As far as I'm saying, there is so much to be discussed.
It said that matra swastra dvidrava nam viktasnu bhave. Like that.
Yeah, that is there, but I'm talking about, you can go to the previous page. Yes, sir, this one. This particular paragraph of the infatuation.
Which one, Prabhuji?
No, where is that? No,
Down.
not here, bro. I'm talking about this whole passage requires to be broken down and then explained in bits and pieces. Otherwise, there's so much is there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained so beautifully. I never thought that these many things are explained. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes, here if you go down, still yes. This what next page. Yes, the infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not complete. This is very, very important. The infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man for attachment to any other object is not complete as that result for attachment to a woman or to a fellowship of men who are fond of women. This is in context with man, but it is the same way to the woman also. It is applicable the same way. It's not that men are only as, yeah, lusty men are dangerous. That's correct because they spoil every woman. Uh, if you see in Quran, I should not tell this, but somehow in Quran, everybody gives the passages are there, but everybody has a different meaning. But some of the mullahs or whoever explained that woman is considered as the agricultural field, and they want to, associate with them like anything. Uh, so that's why you see that for them there is no some actually unless and until he has in his mind some etiquette regarding the daughter, sister, wife, like wife anyhow he's associating, but daughter, sister, um, yeah, basically, otherwise he can engage with anybody for that matter. That's why we see here and there. It's not even discussed. We cannot even discuss among the cultural people. Such a degraded thing. Uh, so Matra, Swastra, Duhitra Va is that verse is actually, it is not telling that I was searching in the Shastras. Is there any other place where a man was associating with his mother or sister or daughter, except the Brahma's instance? There is nowhere in the Shastra wherein there is associating with a daughter, mother, or sister. There is nowhere except the Brahma's case. It's the only case it happened in the history of this one. And you can read from that instance also. It happened in such a way that he becomes the fog. Brahmaji, he burns his body, or he gets a new body. So actually, one who has this inclination to have the desire to associate with the daughter or mother or anything for that matter, and actually he should commit suicide. That particular thing has to be done.
He can
And
take
for that matter, sorry.
he can wear saffron also. Like that is also suicide. Spiritual
No, no, no,
material
no.
sense.
That is different. Spiritual suicide, that is different. Suicide, see, that is when it is said when he wears saffron, he takes spiritual suicide. That is actually socially he is dead.
Yes.
But this one is different. Even Brahma, what did he do? He killed himself. He died. Actually, he left his body. He burnt, and it became that body became a fog. Uh, actually, he became a fog, and then he has to come up with the new body, and then he doesn't remember all those things. So the point is that it is very, very heinous thing. And here it is said, the infatuation and bondage is accrued to a man from attachment to any. There is no attachment in this world than attachment for the woman or attachment for the man. That's why Prabhupada said men are good, women are good. When they come together, they are not good. So, but Grahasthas, it is required that they have to separate. That's why there are some instances required, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives how a householder behaves. Even if he behaves, it is not um, it is not detrimental to devotional service. But when a brahmachari behaves, it is detrimental to devotional service. So how to avoid? So how a brahmachari can avoid, how a sannyasi can avoid. That's why we have to be always in association of devotees. Always, never alone. First thing, never remain alone yourself, and never remain alone with a woman. Either it may be elderly devotee or it may be a small girl or anybody. Always be with group of devotees, many devotees. Always. It is good for a sannyasi or a grahastha or a vanaprastha, especially sannyasi, vanaprasthi and brahmachari, to always be in association of devotees. Never remain alone. Being alone is the poison key for the Pandora box to open. That means to do whatever we want. We don't know. Mind can go anywhere, everywhere. So, so the main thing is one should never be alone in devotional service. Sange Shakti Kalyuge. That's why here one more thing is written is that associate, somewhere it is written, one should not associate with those people who are fond of women also. Yeah, here it is there. Attachment to a woman or fellowship of men who are fond of women. If you see karmis, they don't have any other topic other than talking about other women. Even if they are grahasthas also. Even they have a girl child with them. Still they will speak about other women. Everything, the topic is everything is regarding that. And I have seen in my college days, in my, everywhere, there is no other work other than speaking about women. So it is very much detrimental to Krishna consciousness. And we see devotees that has very much relating to prasadam, taking prasadam. Our association with women or opposite sex or the inclination will depend on our control of tongue. How we take prasadam, how careful we are in taking prasadam. I have seen in United States, at least the Bengali devotees, at least those devotees who are living in the temple, the Bengali devotees, they have gone. I'm telling you, it is like Krishna consciousness has come to an end for them. They are fortunate that they are here in United States, but preaching in Krishna consciousness. But most of the devotees who stay in temple, whatever offering is going on, the deities they take, but that is another thing. But there is so much cooking goes on at the background regarding eating soya, eating mushrooms, Can you imagine devotees taking mushrooms? They are taking mushrooms. They are taking soya sauce. They are taking soya beans. They are taking soya crunches, chunks, soya chunks. They take what is that called as seaweed, vegetable seaweeds. What is that? Vegan fish. I don't know. All these things are nowadays invented. Somehow has come into devotees. They don't offer to the deities. They take tofu. which is outside, made outside, and they don't bother at all. I've seen devotees, I'm seeing also nowadays, they don't bother what is happening. They cook and eat. That's all. I don't know, because that is not to be offered, so they take it. And for sure, they are having illicit sex. For sure, it is not possible for a man, as Prabhupada writes, lusty men are more dangerous. So lust arises by Vishayar Anna Khaile Malin Hobe Mon. It is there. That is, this verse is also there. Yeah, this verse was stated. Vishayar Anna Khaile Malin Hobe Mon. Mon Malin Hoile. What is that? What is that? Vishayar Anna Khaile Malin Hobe Mon. Mon Malin Hoile Nahi Krishna Rasmaran. Nahi Krishna Rasmaran. And how is that you are eating food that to grains, and you're eating day in day out without being offered to Krishna. Even offering to Krishna itself is, and taking prasadam itself is creating so much problem, and taking that itself is, you take more than necessary, it is creating problem. It is increasing your lusty desires. And what to speak of that food, which you then just offer it and just cook it and then just take it. Wow, what is the? That's why you see this. There's so many. They say, anyhow, everything is prasad. This is there. Anyhow, everything is prasad, because whatever is cooked in the temple is prasad, it seems. Anyhow, Prabhupada disciples, daughters and sons don't need any purification. They can take anything and everything and it is purified. They can honor anything and everything because they don't need any purification. They don't need to chant Hare Krishna mantra. These are all the excuses which come from the so-called devotee diaspora in the West. Even in, I don't know. They take Vadilal ice cream. They take chips. They take so many things which are cooked outside, and which are given. Brahmacharis are given. So what can you expect? In many temples, I don't want to mention it, that they take buttermilk which is made from outside and they bring and they make it. They bring curd from outside. Uh, they bring it, most of the things from outside. Uh, of course, we can't produce rice, we can't produce grains, we can't produce vegetables. I understand we can't. But what is the problem with curd? Why don't you purchase the milk, boil it, curdle it, and then take that curd? What is your problem? Take that yogurt? What is your problem? Why we have to buy curd? Why we have to buy buttermilk? Even in Bharuch, sorry, I should not say the word. Even in places where Maharaj is there, they do it. And I asked, why are you doing it? And they say, kya karenge, bro? Kya karenge? Arre Baba, you are exemplary person. You yourself are doing. Then what to speak of others? And you lecture the whole world that they are not following. You are lecturing the whole world that they are not following. But you yourself are not following, first of all. So, so this is the thing. Vishayar Anna Khaile Monin Hobe Mon Molin Hoile Nahi Krishna Smaran. You are just cooking and just taking and eating it. How will you expect that there is no lust and you don't do illicit sex? How will we accept? It's not possible. Even by taking prasadam, too much of prasadam, lusty desires are increasing because we are in the modes of material nature. Then what to speak of that type of grains, that type of food which you don't offer and just take it, and you increase your belly, increase your this one, increase your this much so much. What is the guarantee that you are in Krishna consciousness? That's why we don't get taste to chant Hare Krishna. That's why we don't just taste to read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam. So many problems. And specifically, I am seeing it here in the United States. It is a rampage among devotees like anything. They are devotees dhoti kurta in the morning, and the rest of the day, God knows what they are doing. Krishna knows what they are doing, hell they are doing in their phone or in their rooms or in their this one. Oh, I don't want to explain all these things. So the point is that That's why movement is crumbling from inside. Previously, there was check and balance, and there used to be control on all these things. Devotees used to be questioned. Why are you doing like this? What is this? Don't you shame? Are you not ashamed of all these things? And nowadays, you can't question because everybody is individual. Everybody is in their own way. So it's a great question on our part. It's nobody can question anybody nowadays. They're in their own way. You can see their way, what they wear, what they eat, what they speak, what they laugh, how they crack jokes, how they associate, what type of dress they wear. So it's what is the face is the index of the mind. The dress is the index of the mind. Food is the index of the mind. Everything is the mind. Whatever is there, it is what is exhibited outside. No need, no need to explain so many. Don't read to write passages, give YouTube channel. No, nothing. Just see the devotees. Uh, they are devotees. They are not. It's not that we should not offend them, but it's a great concern. Prabhupada has built the movement with very sweat and strain and blood, and it has become a joke. It has become a joke to people. Nowadays, yesterday I met one black lady, American. She came to Krishna Consciousness. She came to ISKCON Atlanta 12 years back, and after 12 years, she met me, and she was surprised to see me. That I gave her a book. I took her contact. She again started taking meat. Uh, she was coming. She temple. She was taking prasadam. She was telling, "Do you have prasadam?" I gave her prasadam. So the thing is, over a period of time, because we are not inspiring people. So main thing is that should inspire people to all these things. Then all these vices can get out. Otherwise, spiritual masters takes the karma. But if you don't follow, then the karma again comes back to us. The karma comes back in the form of women, in the form of dressing, in the form of change of culture, in the form of so many things. And you go to spiritual master also. Spiritual master will also suffer for our this one. Whatever spiritual master, even whatever spiritual master is having the pain in his life, it is all because of the disciples not following properly. Should understand it very clearly. It is our own sinful things are reflections of our spiritual masters suffering, actually. And we should pray to Krishna. So this is what I have to speak, and so many things otherwise I can explain. But if it makes sense, devotees can ask some things. Otherwise, devotees can we can stop here. Where was it you read? Where? Dharma Dwajas. Actually, yeah, this word is only Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses in this particular book. No other book he mentions, or in some other book I don't know, but he starts with this. Okay, is there any other question anybody wants to ask?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanodpad.
Yes.
Prabhuji, it is said that when the devotee is advancing from one level to another level, he should not be attached to the prescription and prohibition from the lower level. So,
Yeah.
how we know that that level, that prescription prohibition is blocking me to go to the next level?
The thing is, it happens naturally. It is very difficult in our stage to understand. These are the things which acharyas reveal to make us understand that there are so many things in the shastra regarding, or these are all revealed things. This cannot be explained. I can't explain all these things because for the time being, I am myself struggling with so many things. But as far as my knowledge is concerned, that will be revealed to you automatically, and it is automatically you will follow the rules and regulations of that. For example, you are in the Nishtha stage. You don't think of anartha nivritti. You don't think that is an anartha for you. You're understanding? So you don't think that it is a prescription, it is a prohibition. You don't think in that particular Nishtha stage, whatever is prescription and what is prohibition, you follow that academy, and automatically the next stage you attain. So it is like, for example, now, okay, now we are in this stage. We don't think that we have to eat meat. No, we don't think like that. We don't think, okay, I have to stop eating meat. Okay, I should not see. Immediately that smell or anything small thing, even onion, garlic is for us. It is very like, distasteful for us. What to speak of meat? So in this stage, we know very clearly we naturally follow that prescription, prohibition. Am I right or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we are in this stage. Normally, naturally, we don't eat meat. Naturally, we don't have illicit sex. It's I'm not talking about illicit sex. I'm talking about meat eating. Like, for example, these are very clear: meat eating, gambling. It's not that we see somewhere somebody is playing cards. Previously, we used to play cards. For instance, it's not that we jump and play cards. No, we don't do that because we know for sure that this is detriment, because you do it naturally. It's not that somebody is forcing you to do it.
Okay,
Huh?
I get it.
So in the same way, every stage is automatically you attain it because of Shravana Kirtana. You become strong in hearing and chanting and reading, and automatically you increase your stages one by one, and that will be revealed. And Prabhupada said, and it happens naturally. It is not that one has to force himself to get to another stage. It is it happens naturally in the sense that we don't think of every breath before we take a breath. We don't think. We take breath as if it is natural for us. We don't think, oh, I have taken today these many breaths, I have to control my breaths. No. See, now I am also breathing. If I'm not breathing, how I am alive? If I'm alive, then only I'm breathing. So it is natural for us to breathe. So like that, Krishna consciousness becomes at one stage becomes natural for us. So spontaneity should not be forced. Spontaneity is natural. But now we have to force chanting, force regulative principles, prescriptions, prohibitions. But once we get the taste of chanting, once we get the Namaruchi, Jivedaya, and Vaishnav Seva, that becomes natural for us, then automatically we will understand that Krishna's name and Krishna is non-different from each other. So at that stage, when we understand that Krishna's name and Krishna is non-different from each other, all these things manifest. The stage of Nam, what is that? Anartha Nivritti, then Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, everything that Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in other books. It's like the flower. The flower at one stage it's like the budding stage. At one stage it is little bit bigger. And then at the last stage it is called as Prafullita. Prafullita means it has blossomed to that stage where this fragrance, everything is coming. Previously also fragrance was there, everything blossoming, everything, but it was like a budding stage. But at one point of time, it becomes blossoming stage. So we have to wait. We should not be forceful for that. We should put ourselves to the sadhana, put ourselves for the niyama. We should put ourselves with all these rules and regulations. Then automatically all those things will come up. That's what is my understanding. I don't know if somebody has something else, then they can explain. This is what I am thinking.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur
Okay,
said,
understood.
Hare Krishna. This last thing I wanted to say. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said in the Jana Sangha that normal talking with the ordinary people does not come under Prajalpa. The intention matters. Said like that.
Yeah, normally, for example, we are speaking to people like, where is the restaurant where we have to go? We have to go for book distribution. Yes, some karmi. It is
Yeah.
nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, but it is not Prajalpa.
Yes, Prabhu.
If that comes under Prajalpa, then so many things will come under Prajalpa. Prabhuji, of course, in Krishna consciousness, everything is related to Krishna. For example, somebody devotee asked, Prabhu, did you bring the car? Like, for example, because the car is engaged in Krishna consciousness, car is engaged in devotional service. So the car, whatever you are asking, that is also relating to Krishna. That is also Krishna Katha in one sense. For example, Prabhuji, Did you bring the car today? So you're asking a devotee, where is the car? So it doesn't mean that the car is relating to Krishna, is relating to preaching, something we don't know. If we are going out and they are asking normal people, where is this place, where is that place? So that means we are asking the people relating to Karmi, some things, but indirectly it is relating to Krishna consciousness. It's like that, it's not Prajalpa.
Okay, Prabhu.
But
Hare
there are some instances where Prajalpa is there. Like you talk jokes unnecessarily, you pull the legs. So many talks are there which are actually Prajalpa at all. It cannot be understood. Like, chanting, speaking, chanting, talking, chanting, talking, chanting. It is like this. That is Prakalpa, of course. Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll discuss so much tomorrow. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Soya sauce is very normal in Pune. Mataji-san. What can I do? Okay, Jagadguru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Śrī Bhaktyāloka ki jai. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭ𝚑𝚅 ki jai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay.